What's up, y'all? Talon here, going to be taking on the Pokemon Showdown ladder today, featuring a top team in the Regulation G metagame. This team got 10th place at the Stockholm Regional, a very stacked European tournament. And I think at this point, it's pretty obvious that Calyrex-Ice is one of the strongest restricted Pokemon in the metagame, consistently making day 2 and oftentimes even making the top cut. But I think we can all agree that the Calyrex-Ice teams are getting a little stale, so in order to get ahead of the counters, the Calyrex-Ice players definitely need to stop using the same old stuff and experiment a little bit. And that is exactly what this player did, Teemu Menkensen, getting 10th place with a very interesting triple dark team with Moltres Galar, Ting-Lu, Grimmsnarl, as well as a very tricky Milotic set and Amoonguss. But yeah, I have the Pokepaste with the EV spreads in the description below if you want to take the team to Pokemon Showdown yourself. Before we move into that, if you guys enjoyed these type of videos, please subscribe to the channel. Definitely more on the way. And yeah, let's break down the team now. So starting off, we have a very interesting Moltres Galar form, taking advantage of its dark type being really effective into both Calyrex forms. Even if they Tera, they don't love taking a Tera Dark choice specs. Fiery Wrath, especially if you activate a Berserk boost to get even stronger. We also have Foul Play in case a Calyrex out. Air Slash is going to be our secondary coverage move, very good against something like a Choice Scarf Urshifu just to wipe that off the field. And then Dark Pulse is a solid single target move if we're up against, say, Wide Guard Pelipper, which often is paired with the Calyrex-Ice, so that makes a lot of sense. Foul Play is really good into opposing Calyrex-Ice, and in general, just really solid, even if they have gone for the Tera. If they're +1, if you go for Tera Dark, I think you might even get pretty close to a knockout. You might not get quite there. But you're definitely doing a ton of damage. If you chip the Calyrex even a little bit, it's going to go down. And to provide the Moltres a bit more bulk, we have a Ting-Lu with Assault Vest and Snarl. So essentially the focus here is to hit things with Ruination, to chip them down in range for Moltres, Galar, and Calyrex-Ice spread moves. Snarl as well, just to lower people's defensive output. And then Grimmsnarl does have screens, so you can set up Reflect or Light Screen to even further boost the Ting-Lu. And from that point on, we can kind of just go for Fissures. It's going to be really hard to get rid of this Ting-Lu, especially with Amoonguss, Grimmsnarl, screens, and then the Ting-Lu's natural bulk. So you will oftentimes click a couple Fissures for battle, and you're just statistically likely to hit one at some point. So very pesky set here, and it just supports the rest of the team very well. Moltres Galar and the Calyrex-Ice definitely appreciate the boost to their special defense passively from the Vessel of Ruin. Grimmsnarl is up next. Trick Lagging Tail is interesting because it's not like Trick Iron Ball where it would just lower your speed by half. Trick Lagging Tail activates the second turn because priority brackets are determined at the start of a turn. For example, if you encore a Zacian that is going for quick attack this turn, but it went for Behemoth Blade last turn, it would actually move first because the encore, because you went for quick attack and locked in your priority bracket to +1. It's very similar. So if a Pokemon is going for a normal, like a neutral priority move this turn and you trigger Lagging Tail to it, it'll act normally. And then the next turn is when it starts to be very, very slow, or moving in the -1 priority bracket. So that's really cool. It means you can go for that against Amoonguss, an opposing Amoonguss, and then you'll be able to outspeed it with your Calyrex-Ice in Trick Room or out of Trick Room, and very similar for other Pokemon. Miraidon being able to trick away its choice specs, even if you're going to lose your Grimmsnarl and basically just be locked into Trick or have to switch out. That can oftentimes be worth it, guaranteeing that your opponent's main piece in a battle is just always moving last is very, very important. Beyond that, it's just, yeah, pretty standard screen setting up for your extremely bulky team to be able to tank hits, and then Amoonguss's Pollen Puff just allowing you to heal those hits off. Not going to go into too many details about the Amoonguss. Very standard Terra Water, Rocky Helmet, and Pollen Puff, Spore, Rage Powder, just trying to be a nuisance along with the bulk and give yourself turns to set up Trick Room, and then Pollen Puff all your Pokemon back to full HP. Similarly, the Calyrex is very boring. Outside of Terra Dragon, there's actually a lot of Terra Dragons on this team. Grimmsnarl also Terra Dragon. Pretty interesting, definitely focusing on weakening all elemental damage, but being a little weak to Fairy, Ice, and Dragon themselves, obviously. But yeah, beyond that, Glacial Lance, High Horsepower, Trick Room, very standard. We're running Min Speed just because this is a Trick Room team. We're really going to be trying to play in Trick Room most of the time. You don't have to set up at the start of the battle, but generally at some point in the battle, you will be setting up Trick Room, so you do just want to be the slowest Calyrex on the field at that point. Last up on the team is the Milotic, which is very interesting. It's kind of a counter to other Amoonguss Incineroar shuffling teams with the Safeguard, Hypnosis, Muddy Water. If they go for Intimidate on your competitive Milotic, you're going to get to +2 special attack and be suddenly doing pretty decent damage with the Muddy Water. Definitely a bit of a pest. You also have Hypnosis, which if you have screens up, you'll be able to go for a lot of them to make up for the shaky accuracy. And then Safeguard is just to handle opposing Amoonguss. We don't have any Grass Terras on this team, so having the Safeguard is just really your safeguard against Amoonguss. Overall, it's a very unique take on Calyrex-Ice that I'm excited to be taking on the Pokemon Showdown Best of 3 ladder today. If you guys enjoy these type of videos, please subscribe to the channel. Check out Teemu in the description below, along with the EV spreads. in the shape of a Pokebin. Definitely can take that onto Pokemon Showdown yourself if you want to try the team. And yeah, with all that being said, let's jump into the battles now. Okay, so I'm actually on the best of 1 ladder today just because I feel like this is a very solid team for best of 1 ladder, just compared to normal Calyrex-Ice teams, so I want to take a full advantage of that in this case. So we have J. Cole Meal, which is actually a pretty high ranked opponent. We're decently high, but definitely not near the top of the ladder, but I know J. Cole Meal has definitely been like top 25 at some point, so interesting team from them. I think Milotic is pretty worthless here. I don't really see any Hypnosis here. I guess it could... I think they got rid of Grass Whistle on Whimsicott, and regardless, they're going to be setting up terrain with that guy. So, I think Grimmsnarl is a really good pick here, and I'm also going to, I think, lead with Ting-Lu. They can't really threaten that much damage to me, even with Draco. I guess they can Volt Switch my Grimmsnarl, which is annoying. They could just lead, most likely, I would say... It's probably going to be Iron Hands and friends, like Iron Hands, Miraidon, if I had to guess. Is there a great way to punish that? Not really. I think I will go with Ting-Lu, Calyrex in the back, and then probably Amoonguss, I want to say. Yeah, I don't really see the rest of the Pokemon being that good. And yeah, they lead that, makes sense. I'm going to go for Trick right away, and I think they're going to Volt Switch out, maybe even Tera. I'm tempted to go for a Tera here. They could just switch into Farigiraf and go for a knockout, which is probably not great. So I think I will actually go for a Reflect and a Ruination into that switch out with the Terra Dragon. I think the odds are pretty low they go for anything but Volt Switch here, and I don't see my Tera being that effective. They go for Tera Water, which is interesting. There's the Fake Out into the Grimmsnarl. No Tera on the... Okay. And they don't knock me out because we Terra'd. Very nice. Oh, and they were Life Orb. Interesting. Okay. I can get my choice of screens here, and I think I will go for Reflect or Light Screen. Let's go... probably Light Screen. I'm taking hits pretty well. We actually tanked that Electro Drift, honestly. Let's go Reflect. I could trick them here. Rocky Helmet's going to be pretty effective here. I think I like Light Screen. It's pretty safe. Just guarantee I get that up. And then a Ruination. Let's Stomp. Let's punish them if they try and stay in. Yeah, they Volt Switch out. Fair enough. But that's fine by me. They go into Whimsicott. Fair. They can't Encore me. They Close Combat. Dang. They're usually Drain Punch on these teams. That's annoying, but it is what it is. I could get another Screens up, and I think I will just switch to Amoonguss and do that. Because I can maybe heal my Ting-Lu up later in the game. They take the knockout, but they take a lot of chip as well. So now I feel reasonably safe. Even though they have this Ting-Lu in, I can kind of go for Glacial Lance Pollen Puff. Not worry about it that much. No telling if they have Protection on Whimsicott. I think at this point this is a solid enough switch. Or a solid enough turn. If I could get my hands in Trick Room, I'm good. Maybe I just go for Pollen Puff. Self Pollen Puff. It's just a matter of if I think they'll protect or not. Yeah, let's go for this. They switch in for Farigiraf, so glad we got Trick Room up, I think. Or they're going to switch in the Whimsicott. That makes sense. That doesn't really matter. I'm totally fine just switching out and Pollen Puffing again. I am losing out on screen turns, but that's fine. I'm not that worried about this. Yeah, there's the Encore. They go for Hyper Voice, not doing a lot through screens and Ting-Lu. And now we can start just going for Ruinations pretty aggressively. If I wanted to, I could start locking in Fissure, but probably not my best play. Let's go Snarl, Ruination, just some chip on the Iron Hands would be great. And they do kind of have to switch a Pokemon into Miraidon though, so I should probably try and catch that. Whimsicott's near useless though. They're going to go for Psychic, maybe. That could be annoying. I'm going to put it into the Whimsicott slot because I'm otherwise not really threatening that much. Yeah, we catch the Miraidon on switch in, which should be a knockout. And we've taken their Tera, and they're doing very little with that damage. We still have a couple turns of Trick Room left. Iron Hand's out, fair enough. But we can just Ruination in front of that, I think. Ruination for Rigorath is tempting as well. I just need to deal with the Iron Hands. I'm going to get some damage on that, I want to say. Feels correct. And Protect, actually. Because I think they're going to expect me to Rage Powder, so I want to stall a turn away from that. Big Ruination. I'm actually moving first in Trick Room, which is cool. And yeah, they tried to Volt Switch the Amoonguss, which is good. I don't think Stomp is going to knock them out, which is annoying. Let's go... They have Whimsicott in the back, that's fine. I can Ruination that, and I think Pollen Puff, and get pretty close to a KO. It'll at least be in range of a... it's not going to be quite range of a Crash, but I think that's fine. I can never go for... That's a little annoying. Close Combat's going to do a lot, but I think I do probably just go for Rage Powder, Glacial, or Protect. Are they Ice Punch or Wild Charge? Probably Wild Charge. I kind of want to go for Glacial Protect. Surprised they didn't Volt Switch there. That's interesting. I could have just gone for it. Huh, that stinks. I might lose now. Yeah, that's not good. I kind of have to go for Protect in front of this and try and beat the Whimsicott 1v1, but it's not looking good. Yeah, they go for Hyper Voice. It's doing a little too much damage, I think, and yeah, good game to them, but I think even with double Protect here, I shouldn't win. Actually, that did more than I thought. Now we go Glacial, another Pollen Puff, I want to say. Moonblast a KO into Amoonguss? Unfortunately, it probably is, even with the resist, but it's definitely coming down to the wire because of that. Do I have to go for another one? Moonblast should knock me out. Yeah, might have to go for a triple Protect. Moonblast versus... Yeah, that's with bulk too. Yep, go for it, but don't get it, so might as well have knock on for it. Yeah, very close game. Good game to them. That definitely shows the value of... In a game where you don't get the Trick Lagging Tail off, it would be much better to just have the light screen, covert... in a situation where you don't get the Lagging Tail trick off, which happened that game, we just kind of went into Trick Room and pinned the Miraidon that way. Having the Light Clay on the screens means we were taking a lot less damage over the course of the game. And in that circumstances, we ended up losing by probably a couple HP points to that Moonblast at the end. So yeah, definitely showing some of the advantages. We could have tricked the Miraidon on the first turn. But another huge disadvantage is that we don't get the long-lasting screens, which Grimmsnarl is usually known for. So good game to my opponent. Definitely a very hard-fought close one. Okay, up against Shuli VGC. So definitely a very skilled opponent. This is kind of where Milotic is meant to shine with Safeguard, and we probably have to bring it. They can't lead him Incineroar, so how can we take advantage of that? I guess it's a question of if this is the water type Urshifu, the dark one, it kind of changes things pretty substantially. I can always trick some stuff though, so I might go for that. Moltres is pretty cool too. I could honestly lead a Amoonguss Milotic and really be annoying to them, but it's probably not worth it. Let's go our own Calyrex plus Milotic, I want to say. Sniff out what they're going for, and then I like Amoonguss in the back plus our own Moltres. Let's go for that. So it was the water type one, which is not ideal. Not the worst though. Let's go for Hypnosis and a... I doubt they set up Trick Room here. I could set up my own Trick Room and probably be an advantage, which is cool. Yeah, let's go for Hypnosis Trick Room. If I hit, I'm in a great spot. If I don't, I'm in a very bad spot. So maybe I should just go for Glacial Lance Hypnosis. They're close combating the Milotic. They don't want any part of that. Fair enough. And we hit the Hypnosis. Yeah, 60% of the time. It works every time. So that's really good. Now we heal. If they go for another close combat, they'll actually knock themselves out on that Pokemon, which is definitely in my favor. So they don't have a lot of great switch-ins. In fact, they have precisely 0. Oh, they were not Choice Banded. Or Choice Scarf. Makes sense, I guess. But if we hit the Muddy Water, we will be taking the knockout. Cool. They wake up, though. Good for them. We're very low, but we also have the Calyrex pretty low. And as long as they're not Tera Grass, we should be good. I think we just have to focus on not letting them get into Trick Room. Amoonguss. All right. Do they know? Do they know? Many people have been asking this question. And now we find out. Tera Dark, not going to work. Glacial Lance, they do not crit us. And we go for our own Glacial to do a ton of damage. Hope they Pollen Puffed. Good play. So we don't get that off, but we can now go for... that will be a roll to KO, so I think this should probably just be... Do I Hypnosis again or Muddy Water? I'm going to go with Muddy Water. They've already Terra'd, so as long as they don't knock me out, I'm chilling. Like with Pollen Puff or something? Yeah, they tried to redirect that. They go for Glacial Lance. They don't knock out the Calyrex, and that is probably just GG. Because if they go into Trick Room, we can Spore them. If not, we can Fire Rat them. I guess Taunt Incineroar could be annoying. Let's go for Protect... Glacial, I think. We're leftovers. We're healing a lot. Let's go for... Maybe we should have set up our own Trick Room. I'm not sure. We'll go for this in case we get it off. But yeah, no, there's, I think, no option for them to beat the Moltres now. Because we just go for Muddy Water and go for a... Is there any reason to Tera Dark? I don't think so, but might as well. I don't really think there's a reason to do that. Fire Wrath is definitely a KO. Oh yeah, and Fire Wrath Muddy Water cleans them up. Very good game against a pretty solid player. I think we got lucky on the Hypnosis first turn, obviously, but it is 60%. And they were on the other end of the 40%. So ended up getting a pretty good favorable roll turn 1, along with a pretty tricky Milotic, being able to cover the Amoonguss, the Urshifu, honestly the Calyrex pretty well, not taking too much from Glacial Lances. And then the Incineroar, of course. Really good showcase for the Milotic. Okay, up against an opponent with another Calyrex, likely Wide Guard on the Pelipper, which is annoying, or Chaladon. This is a compelling game for the Moltres, actually. Outside of the Okidogi, I think it does very, very well. Grimmsnarl is decent. I don't think Milotic is too strong. If they go into Trick Room, we can obviously use our Amoonguss to advantage our position. I kind of like Calyrex, but let's go Grimmsnarl Moltres here. Or Grimmsnarl Ting-Lu. That's very defensive, maybe a bit too defensive though. I don't hate Calyrex on lead outside of the Pelipper. Yeah, the Pelipper is pretty annoying. I wonder if they lead that. I'm not sure that they would. So I'm going to go with Grimmsnarl lead. Pelipper or Chaladon's just very safe for them. So I'm going to go with this, and then do I go Amoonguss or Ting-Lu? I don't think the special defense is that valuable for my Calyrex, whereas Amoonguss could be a bit more important. I could also lock Tera Water on the Ting-Lu, but I think I might not be able to. Alright, let's go Amoonguss for healing. They lead this, which is scary, but I should be able to go for a... let's go maybe play a little tricky here and actually go for... They can kind of double protect pretty safely, which would be annoying. Can we do anything about that? Not really. I kind of feel tempted to just burn the Tera, right? Let's go Reflect. Just set it up. This is probably Focus Sash. Just getting that in a range where I can Pollen Puff it is good, I would say. Yep, there's the Wide Guard expecting the Fire Wrath. We actually could have Terra Dark Foul played them. They go Trick Room, that's fine. I'm going to go into my own guy here and actually Spirit Break the Pelipper. And at some point I'll probably trick a Lagging Tail onto their Calyrex. Yeah, let's just hit the Pelipper. Don't give them any damage that we don't have to give them. I guess I could have Dark Pulse there. Oh, that's min speed Pelipper. Okay. That's a lot of damage I should not have taken. They were a Life Orb. Man, they were a Life Orb and they still took the Dark Pulse. That's annoying. Indeedee out is tricky. We can at least go for a Glacial Lance and live on either, which is cool. If they take a knockout, I get a Mungus in, which is cool. I don't need Light Screen, I think. I can always just go for some damage into that. Let's get a little more damage into the Calyrex if they give it to me. Because I could have Light Screen there. We move first and we get the Calyrex for some damage, which is cool. And they didn't actually take the knockout with the Calyrex, which is very important. I'm going to Fiery Wrath and I think switch because I don't want to give them... Okay, they're going for that, which is fine. As long as it doesn't crit. Cool, it doesn't. And we should be taking a knockout, especially with the Berserk boosts. So I win a Mungus there just because if we get locked into Fiery Wrath against... Okay, it was Ogerpon, but I don't know why they forfeited that. I think that was winnable. If they crit the Ivy Cudgel, that felt... I guess I'm moving before them and I can self-Pollen Puff. Yeah, that's probably a loss unless they crit, but definitely play those out if you are on the other end of that. So good win. Very interesting team, but the value of the screens plus the Moltres against a Calyrex-Ice team cannot be overstated. It's so strong and pressures them a lot. Even though we didn't hit into the Calyrex that many times, just a couple was enough to chip it in range for the rest of our very bulky team. Okay, my opponent has a Pikachu and Kyogre. Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, Farigiraf, Torn. That's a lot of very scary stuff. Unfortunately, I feel like this is actually a pretty good one for Grimmsnarl plus Calyrex. Terra Dragon particularly seems strong to me. I'm going to go for that. I could see a Mungus healing myself being really valuable, and then their whole team special, so I think Ting-Lu is also kind of a given. Let's go Light Screen, Terra Dragon, Trick Room. Feels correct. They're going to go for Terra Water, but at least we'll resist that. Still doing a lot of damage. Actually still at 2 at KO. Jeez, man. That's crazy. What the That's got to be Specs, right? Yeah, that's got to be Specs. I'm going to go Amoonguss given that. And Spore Protect. If they have Encore, they have Encore, but I don't think they do. And if they do, I'll just have to Rage Powder the next turn. Out into Chi-Yu. They're really trying to increase their damage output. Does this knock out Amoonguss? Surely not through Protect, right? Oh my god, it was close though. I think I kind of have to Protect Trick Room and hope I live the Pulse, because I'm pretty sure they're not Specs. They go for Heat Wave. Yeah, it doesn't burn me. This is fine. I should be able to go for a... Are you Focus Sash or are you? Because I can High Horsepower if it's that. Let's go... I might have to sack here, but I'm not sure. Oh, one thing I could do is actually run the Calyrex faster than the Ting-Lu, so that I can go for Ruination and Glacial Lances. That'd be a pretty cool option. I feel like this is my best play. Just... Oh, they forfeit. So what I was going to do there was actually switch to Ting-Lu, Protect. I don't know. It depends on what the Pikachu is. That's the issue with the open team sheet or the closed team sheet. But yeah, getting into the Trick Room with the Light Screen against a very special team like this, even though we lost so many resources turn 1, we're still able to win, I guess, without doing any damage. But it probably became a game of guess the Focus Sash at that point. Because if I high horsepower the Chi-Yu or the Pikachu, I don't think either can knock out without the other also doubling into it. So close game with a very tricky start, but the resisting Tera on the Calyrex, very important there. Okay, up against Crit Rate, who is actually pretty high on the best of 3 ladder. They're also high on the best of 1 ladder here. Probably Wide Guard on this guy. Definitely a stray taunt somewhere. Could be Choice Specs on the Calyrex-Ice or Life Orb. That's pretty common. We could kind of juke them on the Moltres, going for Dark Pulse in front of that guy, but I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm going to go Grimmsnarl, Calyrex, I think, and then Moltres in the back, and Amoonguss in the... Ting-Lu's pretty good too. Let's go... Ting-Lu or Amoonguss. Let's go... Amoonguss. Yeah, definitely a tricky team from them. Very cool. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of these hyper-offensive Calyrex teams featured in the Los Angeles Top Cut, or at least day 2. It's something that's definitely been on the rise on ladder, and it's very deadly to play against if you do not have very dedicated counterplay. So that's interesting. They just lead that. I kind of feel like I can go for Light Screen, switch to Moltres when they're pretty clearly going to be going for a Astro Barrage option. And they don't take a lot, or they're going to take a lot from this. I could go for Terra Dragon though, which is tempting, and I think I will. Nah, that's probably not right, because most likely they are going for Imprison Trick Room or something. They go for Helping Hand though. It's not going to do that much. They were Life Orb. Huh, okay, that's annoying. But I can still go for this option. I think I should knock out everything with a Tera Dark, but I don't want to commit to that yet, I think. I think this is just going to be a Reflect turn Fiery Wrath, because I don't think they have a knockout onto me. Yeah, Iron Valiant comes out. We're going to set up Reflect. We did lock in there kind of foolishly. They can also knock me out, which is kind of dicey. Let's go Amoonguss. Yeah, I could have locked Dark Pulse there. That was pretty obvious. I should have like Spirit broke that slot if I wanted to play a little more proactively. Let's go for that here, I think. We'll go into our Amoonguss on a potential Spirit Break. We'll see if we were going to knock them out. I am no attack on this guy, so it's possible I wouldn't have. Yeah, there's the Wide Guard covering for me, just staying in. It does a lot of damage, but we at least take the knockout. And they might have a knockout on my Grim now, which is yikes for sure. Wicked Blow. Yeah, they might have it one regardless because of Psychic Terrain. I can't stall it out. I probably should have gone into Trick Room earlier, even though I would have taken a lot of damage. It is what it is. Let's, I guess, go for Spirit Break into the Urshifu. I don't think it matters. And then, I guess if they take some damage from that, that's good. I don't want to give them a double boost, essentially, which is why I'm going for Protect here. Yeah, they go for what? Brick Break Urshifu? That's very cool. Oh, now I just go down for sure, right? That's awesome. That's a very cool set. Now what do we do? I think we probably still just go for Trick Room, Terra Dragon, Rage Powder. Is that stupid? Because they can Wicked Blow me still and probably knock me out. Yeah, really cool set there. I like that a lot. I think we just go down. Yeah, awesome game. So we could have circumvented a lot of that by just Spirit Breaking the switch out onto the Iron Valiant or Dark Pulsing, like committing to that instead. But no, they totally caught us with the Brick Break Urshifu. I think I should have just been going for Trick Room earlier. I wasn't sure if they were a Imprison Indeedee or not, but yeah, those are kind of hard to call because they don't have a lot of great Trick Room options outside of that. So it would have been very reasonable for them to be that set. But they call me going for a switch. Instead, I have a lot of Dark type switch-ins. So instead of going on the defensive, maybe setting up Trick Room for me, they go on the offensive and get just enough damage to eventually pile on a boost and break screens and then just blow by me in Tailwind. So yeah, that can be the danger with these hyper defensive teams. If they have good options into your Pokemon and you don't really take advantage of your turns where you are walling them out, right? I was going for Fiery Wrath, getting walled by a Wide Guard, switching out. My Calyrex never was able to enter the field and do a lot of damage or set up Trick Room without being heavily threatened itself. So that's how things can go very wrong, even when you're running a very stallish defensive team. Okay, up against a Zamazenta Rain team. Wide Guard Pelipper is definitely annoying. They actually wall me pretty hard with the... Oh, it's Iron Defense, Zama, and I can't trick that, I think, which is annoying. My best route might be to just spam Fissure in front of it, honestly. So what are we going to do about that? We could force a Tera, but then Glacial Lance isn't going to be doing that much either. Yeah, it's not going to do a lot of damage, but... What do I have to lead here? Maybe like Ting-Lu, Milotic, get Safety Guard up, but that doesn't feel great. Yikes. Very scary team. It's probably just Ting-Lu, Calyrex though, and then try and hit a Fissure. Amogus I feel like has to come. I could force a Tera from them, maybe. That's worth considering. I just need to switch in for that, so I kind of have to do that. I need something to protect my Calyrex from that guy, but this doesn't feel great. I'm going to go Trick Room and just like start spamming Fissure, I want to say. Or is that necessary? Should I go for Ruination? Let's think about going Trick Room, Tera, Fissure. Yeah, let's run it. They're going for Iron Defense. If we hit, we're chilling. If we don't, that's fine. Because we get to go for it again, essentially. And we go for Glacial Lance and Fissure until the cows go home. Should I go Amogus here? I think I will. Just to be able to pressure a Spore onto them. They probably go Amogus at some point. Themselves. Nope. We miss another Fissure. Does a lot of damage, but we can now go for a Pollen Puff if we want to, or a Spore. I think I'm going to go for a Spore Fissure. We're due, baby. Aw, come on. All right, now we have to, what? Spore them, protect? I'm not really sure if we have a much better matchup than that. If they're Terra Grass, I think we'll lose straight up. So it's just a matter of that. Needed Safeguard up a little earlier, but I felt like I didn't have the turns. Because I could have led Milotic Ting-Lu. But yeah, there's definitely a huge Zamazenta problem on this team. You're probably Terra Grass. If you're not, what do we do? Whatever, let's try it. Yeah, it was Terra Grass, so we didn't have a much better play than Pollen Puff. Given they can just go for that. Yeah. Okay. Now they just go for Protect, and I can't really do a whole lot about it. Given they just one-hit KO the rest of my team. Bummer, but it is what it is. We can start pollen puffing them, but it doesn't really get us anywhere, unfortunately. Yeah, we'd have to first turn Wake and them choke pretty hard by not Rage Powdering or Pollen. Yeah, they just go for Protect. Iron Defense is just going to knock us out here, unfortunately. So I believe that's Chi-Chi. Yeah, I played this. I don't know if there's much more you can do other than maybe getting the Safeguard up earlier so you get more opportunities to go for that. Yeah, I'm just going to lock in Forfeit, but that's definitely how the Zamazenta goes very badly for you, is if you get, you know, even RNG on Fissure. You have to get pretty lucky with Fissure to even have a chance against Zamazenta with Iron Defense, and we did not get so fortunate this match. All right, that will do it for our battles today, featuring the top 10 in the Stockholm Regional. Moltres, Ting-Lu, Grimmsnarl, very bulky Calyrex-Ice team. Very cool team, definitely has its matchups into things like Terapagos and Calyrex-Ice, just down pat, but I do feel like the Zamazenta matchup is a little dicey, and given that team ultimately won the tournament, you have a very bad matchup against the Iron Defense one. The Wide Guard one isn't much better. You're kind of just relying on your Ting-Lu's Fissures to basically carry those matchups where you can't break the Zamazenta. That's never a great spot to be in, especially when you don't have a defensive Tera to handle that. Terra Water's fine, but you would really need like a Poison or a Ghost Tera to beat the Zamazenta. So overall, very cool team. Definitely some room for adaptation in the future for the metagame, but a lot of cool ideas here on display. So if you want to use the team for yourself, I have the EV spread in the description below. Check out Timu on Twitter, the inventor of the team. And with all that being said, peace, y'all.